day to each and everyone. I am Mary Claire Flores from BSN Sciences 3A, and for today's video, I will discuss to you the chapter 9.2, which is the general properties of the moon. Okay, so now we have our learning objectives. First is discuss what has been learned from both man and robotic lunar exploration. The second one is describe the composition and structure of the moon. Did you know that the moon has only 1/8 the mass of Earth and about 1/6 Earth's surface gravity? And that's too low to retain an atmosphere, you know? And remember that the moving molecules of a gas can escape from a planet just the way a rocket does. And the lower the gravity, the easier it is for the gas to leak away into space. Okay, now we have two sides of the moon. And the first one, the left side, okay? Please observe the picture in the left side, okay? It is part of the hemisphere that faces the Earth. At ano po ang visible dito? Of course, yung may makikita tayong several dark Maria. Yes, several dark Maria. And then, okay, sa right side, makikita naman natin dito, it is a part of the hemisphere that faces away from the Earth. Okay, maintindihan natin yung left side kanina. It is part of the hemisphere that faces the Earth, while in the right side, it is a part of hemisphere that faces away from the Earth. And then, ano makikita natin dito? It is dominated by highlands. So, okay, the moon today is dramatically deficient in a wide range of volatiles. And those elements are compounds that evaporate at relatively low temperature. And some of the moon properties are summarized here in our table 1. Okay, here in our table, we have properties of the moon and of Mercury. Okay, some of the moon's properties are summarized in this table, along with comparative values for Mercury. So, i-compare natin si moon sa Mercury, of course. Now, pag sinasabi natin mass, yung moon, meron siyang 0.0123, while yung Mercury, may 0.055. And then, pag sinasabi naman nating diameter in kilometer, yung moon natin is may 3,476 kilometer, while yung Mercury may 4,878. At pag sinasabi naman natin density, we have 3.3, and then yung Mercury merong 5.4. Okay, pag sinasabi naman natin surface gravity, yung moon may 0.17 while yung Mercury may 0.38. And then, pag sinasabi natin escape velocity, kilometer per seconds, ang moon natin meron 2.4 while yung Mercury may 4.3. Okay, pag sinasabi natin rotation period in days, yes, meron tayong yung moon may 27.3, and then yung Mercury may 58.65. And last, we have tayong surface area. Okay, so surface area ng moon, 0.27, while yung Mercury may 0.38. Okay, so enough for that. Now, to achieve or to obtain our learning objectives, now we will go to the exploration of the moon. And then most of what we know about the moon today derives from the US Apollo program, isn't it? Wow. Yes, that's true. Which sent 9 piloted spacecraft to our satellite between 1968 and 1972 and landing 12 astronauts on its surface. Wow. Initially, Russia took the lead in lunar exploration with Luna 3, which returned the first photos of the lunar far side in 1959, and then with Luna 9, which landed on the surface in 1966 and transmitted pictures and other data to Earth. However, these efforts were overshadowed on July 20, 1969, when the first American astronaut, Neil Armstrong, set foot on the moon. Okay, now we have here table 2, which summarizes the 9 Apollo flights. Yes, the 9 Apollo flights, and 6 that landed and 3 others that circled the moon but did not land. The initial landings were on flat plains selected for safety reasons, but with increasing experience and confidence, NASA targeted the last 3 missions to more geologically interesting locales. Okay, so the level of scientific exploration also increased with each mission as the astronauts spent longer times on the moon and carried more elaborate equipment. And finally, on the last Apollo landing, NASA included one scientist, geologist, and later the US Senator, which is Jack Smith. Okay, here in our table 2, which is Apollo flights to the moon. Okay, now we have flight named Apollo 8 on December 1968, and hindi po siya nag-land successfully. Isa po siya sa hindi nag-land. Then meron po siyang main accomplishment, which is first humans to fly around the moon. And then we have Apollo 10 on May 1969. Isa din po siya sa hindi nag-land. Pero it is first spacecraft rendezvous in lunar orbit. And then we have Apollo 11, July 1969. Nagland po siya successfully sa Mare Tranquillitatis. And then first human landing on the moon, which have 22 kilograms of samples returned. And then we have Apollo 12 on November 1969, landed in Oceanos Procellarum. And then first Apollo lunar surface experiment package and visit to Surveyor 3 lander. And we have Apollo 13 on April 1970 at isa po siya sa hindi nagland successfully. But landing aborted due to explosion in command module. And then we have Apollo 14 on January 1971. Landing site po niya is Marino Bloom. At siya po ay first rickshaw on the moon. And then we have Apollo 15 on July 1971. Landing site po is Marie Imbrium Hadley, or first rover visit to Hadley's real. Astronauts traveled 24 kilometers. And Apollo 16 on April 1972, landing site po is Descartes, and first landing in Highlands, 95 kilograms of samples returned. And then lastly, we have Apollo 17 on December 1972. Landing site is Taurus Letru Highlands, and geologists among the crew, 111 kilograms of samples are returned. Okay, now, we have here a picture of the scientist of the moon. Nakuha po ito ng scientist of the moon, geologist, naging US Senator, at siya si Harrison Jack Smith. And then in front of a large boulder in the Letru Valley at the edge of the lunar highlands. So, note kung paano o how black the sky is in the airless moon. Okay? No stars are visible because the surface is brightly lit by the sun, and the exposure therefore is not long enough to reveal stars. Okay, but today, lunar exploration has become an international enterprise with, robotic spacecraft focusing on lunar science. Okay? But today, neither NASA nor Russia have plans to send astronauts to the moon, and China appears to be the nation most likely to attempt this fate. Okay, now, to achieve our learning objectives number 2, which is the composition and structure of the moon. Okay, we know that the composition of the moon is not the same as that of Earth. Okay? Because with an average density of only 3.3 gram per cubic centimeter, the moon must be made almost entirely of silicate rock. Compared to Earth, it is depleted in iron and other minerals or metals. Okay? It is as if the moon were composed of the same silicates as Earth mantle and crust, with the metals and volatile selectively removed. And these differences in composition between Earth and Moon provide important clues about the origin of the Moon. Okay, so to summarize, most of what we know that the Moon derives from Apollo program, including 400 kilograms of lunar samples still being intensively studied, okay? And the Moon has only 1/8 the mass of Earth and is severely depleted in both metals and volatile materials. So it is made entirely of silicates like those in Earth's mantle and crust. However, more recent spacecraft have found evidence of a small amount of water near the lunar pools, most likely deposited by comet and asteroid impacts. That's all. Thank you for watching.